This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Welcome. Today is May 25th. It is 6:05 or so p.m. This is the Easthampton City Council Public Safety Committee. I see all members are present and accounted for. We have Councilors Derby and Munier here. There were minutes sent out earlier. Has everyone had a chance to review those?
Yes, I just did.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions or input? No, seeing none, I'll take a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes approved. What day was that? Doesn't matter. Okay. At this time, I will take any input from the public on matters not otherwise on the agenda. Seeing none, we can move on. Okay, so old and continuing business. So as both of you know, we have a number of kind of stagnant items that can certainly come back on our agenda, but I just in the interest of cleaning it up, especially with the term starting to wind to a close, but not yet. But especially as we enter summer session, there are a few things that we haven't really acted on. So did either of you have a chance to look at the letters I sent out?
Yes.
I didn't. No.
Okay, I could read those really quickly. So we have two items I just wanted to wrap up, and really both of them right now don't really require council action, but I wanted to be able to report back to the council. So regarding the speed signs, as you know, we discussed those. I think there was consensus that they'd be helpful and why they would be helpful. So I wrote a letter. Dear members of the City Council, the Public Safety Committee has met and discussed the agenda item review of the use of electric speed monitoring signs on numerous occasions following its introduction on 2/16/2022. I didn't realize it was that long ago. Conversations on this agenda item have included members of the DPW, police, and other public stakeholders. The committee has achieved consensus and agreement from DPW police that permanent electric speed signs would be beneficial to the city to provide speed mitigation in select areas of the city, particularly our main arteries such as Holyoke Street, Northampton Street, Park Line Street, East Street. Signs likely will cost between $5,000 to $10,000 each, and cloud services between $350 and $500 per year per sign. Additionally, these signs come with the capability to be connected with the cloud that allows for monitoring a variety of traffic metrics, including traffic counts, average speeds, and number of speeding incidents. This may help better inform planning, DPW, and public safety regarding projects or deployment of resources to abate speeding and other traffic safety measures. There is no council action required on this item. This recommendation is made to the DPW Police Mayor's Office and any other relevant stakeholders. Sorry, I read that fast, but it's also
No, it's fine.
It was perfect out there.
okay. So
Do you want me to make a motion to send that to the full council?
yeah, I guess it's just would be helpful to have your approval and
Sure.
and have it on record. So sure,
Yeah.
I'll take a motion.
I'll make that motion to send that to the full council.
The motion.
Second.
So, okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So I'll send that over to them. And I talked to DPW. I haven't talked to the police. I was like, do you feel the need to sign this? And they're like, basically they agreed with the content and they said it's fine for us to just send it.
All right.
And then I wrote another letter about South and Main, if I can pull it up. Sorry, my computer's being a little wonky. Here we go. So it's helpful anyways. I think these should be read into the record, so it's helpful that I'm doing this. So I just sorry, my computer's being really wonky. Okay. Members of the City Council. The City Council Public Safety Committee has met on numerous occasions to discuss agenda item review of South Main Street four-way traffic light introduced on 2/16/2022. The intersection of Main and South Streets has been the site of numerous vehicle accidents, some with pedestrian involvement. Data collected from 2001 to 2021 demonstrates 74 accidents at this intersection. The intersection of West and Northampton Streets was a similar site of high-volume accidents with 68 accidents between 2001 and 2013. Following installation of a light at West and Northampton Streets intersection, there has been 17 accidents between the period of 2014 and 2021, a 75% decrease. It's a different period of time, but I think that's fine enough to. Resident attention to the South and Main intersection has been robust, with an online change.org petition accruing about 1,300 signatures in about a year and a half. The decision to place a light at the intersection is somewhat complicated by the DOT's opinion of whether the intersection is a state or local road. It is the committee's opinion that it is in the best interest of vehicle and pedestrian safety that the city continue to prioritize and pursue a light at this intersection.
I agree.
Yeah.
The only modification that I think could be helpful, it's really minor, is that this is a pretty significant crossing to the new school. I don't know if did I miss that?
I didn't put that in. I think that's a good thing to add.
Yeah.
What?
Especially since all the elementary and middle are consolidated at one place now.
With your permission,
I think it's just at the very end.
Okay.
Say.
All right, I'll say it before our opinion.
Yeah.
I'll if
this warrants extra attention because of its proximity to the new school and all of the students coming from the side of town need to cross that road at that intersection or something, But I feel that we could probably trust you to do that wordsmithing before we send it to the council and probably approve it, and that could be added.
I just did it.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
And I actually just happened to run into Representative Dan Carey outside.
Oh, there you go.
So I mentioned this to him, and he said, "Oh, well, do you want some sort of letter from DPW?" I meant not to DOT.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh yeah." So potentially before the deadline for next Thursday, I'm going to see if we can get a letter, basically just summarizing where they have been in the process, so the public understands the traffic, why we don't have a light there yet, the traffic counts, and some other items that So he's going to attempt to do that. If we don't, that's fine. But okay.
Perfect.
So that's a state route, ain't it?
Well, it's complicated.
It's like half and half.
Yeah. Because obviously, so South Street obviously isn't.
Yeah.
But the state highway starts partway through the intersection or something weird, or just abuts it, and so it's but the state wants to say that it's their responsibility, but so that's the complicated. Maybe I can even ask them to clarify that more later. All right. Ordinance Review Committee's final report review. So I've been intending for a while to circle back with the chief and basically say, here's all the stuff we came up with in committee. There's a few items there I think we agree we still need to work on, such as the bicycle helmet piece, which, so, I mean, I can't decide, and I would actually defer first to you, Councilor Derby, because you've been on the council longer. I think ultimately what we agreed upon is that there should be language basically, first of all, not handing out a fine, and second of all, including some sort of educational component, like officers to handle them, hand people out like a pamphlet about bike helmet safety. Now, is that something
that we would want to write into an ordinance?
Right. Do we want to present that language and write it, or do we want to remove the language first and then I think it's better to just amend it instead of removing it. We could remove the fine, and then come back and do the other stuff.
Yeah, I think removing the fine makes sense. It's hard to write in an educational piece, which is I think why we faltered so far, because it is a challenge of us directing a city department to do something which becomes a potential sticking point, right?
Yeah, I mean, we direct the fine. We could direct the fine.
Direct the fine.
So let me talk to the chief.
Let's talk to the chief. I think that one is,
I think there were a few others that we had general consensus about. I just need to actually have a conversation. I apologize.
Okay, that's fine.
It's every week. So let me figure out when I can do that.
Okay.
I mean, I think we had general agreement about that stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
Speed signs. New city quick actions, again, I think that could be removed
That could
without
probably be
prejudice, so
removed.
we'll bring it back.
If we need it back, we'll just bring it back.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to. And are you familiar with that?
No.
So we basically had the new city quick actions as an agenda item. There was some planning department stuff that was happening with New City, and we wanted to be able to be responsive to some of that stuff, but it seems like it's slowed down.
Yeah.
They did a we got that report when they did the report to us about all the, because they had a consultant in. There's actually a really great plan for New City to make it more pedestrian friendly, to make the streets a little bit safer, to do like planting, like big giant cement tree planters, and so we wanted it on the agenda. I think basically just to be able to act quickly on those things, if I'm remembering correctly. But we haven't had anything in a while, so
right. We acted on a couple stop signs,
yeah.
and there were some discussions about some other things, but I think we could remove it, and if whenever the planner needs it, we'll just put it right
Just
back.
put it back on.
So
I'm happy to make that motion to remove that without prejudice.
yeah, do you have any concerns? No. Okay, so I'll take a motion for that.
I made it.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, the motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
I'll break that up. The Mountain Trailhead on East Street safety items. So we put in the no parking, and then there's been this conversation about, like a broader conversation about what to do down there in terms of infrastructure, such as, sidewalk and oh, I'm sorry, the New City quick actions.
New City quick actions without prejudice.
Excited about that.
Yeah.
So the Mountain Trailhead, so we did the no parking. I think that my opinion is that I would like at least to give it a shot to try to get a meeting with like some other stakeholders to talk about some of these other things. And if we can't do that, then we can remove it and we can bring it back. I think initially this came to us because of the no parking, which is accomplished, but I think we identified that there's other issues that need to be addressed, and maybe we'll at least try. Let's just say, we'll give ourselves 90 days, and if nothing's happening, we can remove it. And then if planning, DPW, or police want to like pursue that conversation again, we could do that and bring it back. Unless you have any concerns.
No, but what would be interesting to find out, as far as bringing in stakeholders, is who owns the power lines that cross the Connecticut River and go up the hill at the little side street there.
Underwood?
Underwood.
You mean as a to get a?
Well, because it would be really interesting. I mean, I feel like there's a hill, there's power lines, and the power lines have to be clear anyway. And there's at the bottom there's a big grass hill. It almost seems like right off adjacent to the street there could be a small parking lot carved out that wouldn't have any impact on the power lines. But it would just have to be, that land is probably owned by the power company.
Yeah, we'd probably have to negotiate an easement.
So the next time they want to put a pole up, we just say, "You want a pole? Here we want hey, we want to pay.
Yeah.
Quid pro quo."
I mean, I think that's what we should have what I would like. What I would recommend is I could send an email to the planner and be like, "Can you bring us a bunch of ideas and we could discuss it at a meeting?" And if he's like, "I'm too busy," respectfully, which I get.
Yeah.
I'll say, that's fine, like, we'll just come back to this when you're ready.
Yeah.
And in fact, okay, is that?
I think that's fine.
Okay, so we'll keep it on for now.
Keep it on for now.
I'll send an email. And then the Mountain View School driveway. So basically we had approved that school zone, but there was conversations about the driveway, and that the school zone can only include an area abutting, but not the driveway.
Right.
I mean, I'd be perfectly happy to entertain making a recommendation. I think someone had said 20 miles an hour. I was thinking more like 15. I don't know what those areas typically are.
I mean, this is a hard one because, so part of it, like, it's so long. Part of it could be 25, right? Because it's, I mean, it's so long, and the pedestrian section is so removed. So it's not like there's kids walking on the street. And so if you have it 15 for the whole way, it would be like really painful.
Sure.
So 25 is probably more reasonable. And then maybe when you get to the area where there's crosswalks and stuff, that's when you adjust it down to 15, because that's when you're going to be encountering pedestrians. But for the first, 1,000 feet of that driveway. You don't. There's no crosswalks. There's no nothing. It's just it's a one-way road on each side. So, I mean, obviously, I would love to hear what the police's opinion is on that, but I feel like doing the whole thing one might be, it might be frustrating for parents.
I miss parking all along that driveway watching the fireworks when I was young.
Yeah.
On each side of the roads going down to the school.
Yeah. It's still it's not no parking, so that could potentially still happen.
So here's my thought. Here's my only thought. So school zone speed limits are 20 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So if the rotary is 20, maybe that should just be what the speed zone. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, and it makes sense.
15, 25, we'll split it in the middle. 20.
Well, there's that too, but I mean, also it's congruent. It's
congruent with the school zone, which
yeah.
is what we kind of thought it should be anyway.
Yeah. So
and people are gonna. I mean, at the end of the day, unless there's enforcement on it, people are gonna go the speed they're gonna go.
Yeah. So I mean, I could write up language for the next packet, which we basically have approved, and that way we could set a public hearing.
Yeah, I would say the only thing, I think it's fine to write up language. I would say it would be probably important to include the stakeholders. So include police, include maybe school, not necessarily the school committee, but like it would be great to hear from school administration, like what they think.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that have to live with it. So
right.
if possible, just to get some feedback.
I guess there's no rush.
It's not probably. No.
Yeah. Then why don't? Yeah. 'Cause I think Greg Nuttall said 20 miles per hour. Why?
Okay.
So him, police,
Superintendent.
superintendent.
I think would be fine. I would like to hear from Meredith Police to see what she thinks.
Sure. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, and if we hear through the superintendent what she thinks, like if she doesn't want to come to me, that's fine. But I just feel like the people that have to live with it on a daily basis should be aware and have a say.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So why don't we say that that's the general idea, and I will I'll email all those people. We'll find a time for a meeting. Sometime.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't think that there's anything else. I just need to I think the realistic thing is that I'm going to finally be able to really tie up those ordinance review items in the summer.
Perfect.
It's just been crazy.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
I think that addresses everything. I should ask if there's any other members of the public here. I didn't ask anyone if they want to make comments on, but without response on any of our agenda items. And seeing none, do either of you two have any either our esteemed members have any further comments before we?
I do have a further comment. I move to adjourn.
Second that.
Now, point of order. I don't know if that's okay. Well, now we have a motion in a second, so I can't comment. But no, I think this is good. So I'll take a vote. All in favor of adjournment. Aye. Meeting adjourned at 6:22.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.